Hey, what's up? This is DJ Thunderous. I am actually here with Tony Demolitionman Dolan from the band Venom Inc. Hell yeah. How you doing, Tony?
Yeah, very good. I'm calling all the way from cold, wintry London, so I'm doing very good. Thank you very much for having me on the show and talking to me.
That's awesome. Thank you for calling. And can you give us a history of the band and your current members, please?
Absolutely not.
Not?
Next
okay.
question.
Toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole, yeah. Well, basically, we go back to the beginning of the late 70s into the 80s, where Mantis formed a band called Venom. They became quite seminal and quite influential. I was friends with them. I had my own band, which ran in conjunction with Venom. We toured together. We were on the same label together. And in the late 80s, I joined the band as bass vocalist with Mantis and Abaddon. And then I left in 92. The original band reformed for a couple of years. And then Mantis lost his mother. And he'd already lost his father, so it was his last remaining relative. So he kind of stepped out of the music business for a while, you know, to focus on, I guess, life things. Kronos carried on with the band Venom and different formations and currently still today. And I guess around about early 2000s, myself and Mantis, he was doing a solo project, and I had been doing acting and stuff in movies and TV and stuff, and working as an engineer. And he called me and said, would I play bass on an album? So I went and I did his solo project. And then several years later, he called me again and said he had an idea to put a music project together. So I said, okay, but if we do it, then we can't throw your guns under the bed again. At this time, we got to do it until we don't do it anymore. So we got to go out like Lemmy did with his boots on. And he said, okay, so that's what we did. We started a band called Empire of Evil, which was an anagram of Primeval, which was the first Venom album I did about 89. And we made our own records. I did licensing deals. We toured the world several times. And then we got to a situation where a promoter had seen me do a one-off show playing the first album I ever made for my band Atomcraft, Future Warriors. A promoter had invited me to play this festival show and do the album in its entirety, so I did it. Of course, Mantis was there hanging out, so I got him up on stage to play the final encores. And another promoter from Germany had seen that show and then contacted me afterwards and said it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I was thinking of booking Empire of Evil for my festival in Germany. So about 2,000 people come, all hardcore fans of the new wave of British heavy metal and heavy metal through the 80s. And he said, I just wondered, I saw Abaddon in the audience, and I wondered, if Abaddon happened to be at the festival, would you get him on stage to play a couple of Venom classics for the fans? So the long and the short of it, and the debate that followed, I'll leave out, but I managed to make it happen. We flew in from Russia. Abaddon was there. We went on stage, played half the set as Empire of Evil, and then we brought Abaddon on and we played 5 Venom classics, 7 Gates of Hell, Sons of Satan, Witching Hour, Kindness Battery. And then, and that was it. We were going to pack our stuff, go home. Myself and Mantis would carry on as Empire of Evil. Abaddon would go back to his day job, and that was it. But what happened was that people had seen it on the internet, and almost immediately I was getting contacted for, shows. Would we come and play here? Would we come and play there? And kind of be like the late 80s, 90s version of Venom. And there seemed to be great interest, so we had a discussion, and we thought, okay, why not? We'll just go play a load of live shows for a year, make everybody happy, or not happy, depending on their viewpoint, and then and that would be it. So within, I'd say about 2 months, we were in China, and then in Japan, and then we went to the USA, and then we went through Europe, And then we were into the next year. I had Goddard's management, John Sazula from, Megaforce, Anthrax, Metallica, all that, who was still an old friend, and I'd been bugging him for years to come out of retirement, and he agreed. So he came out of retirement, and Chuck Billy from Testament came, and they became our managers. And very quickly we were moving at such a rate that they turned around and said, you need to make an album. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to make an album because for me it was about the legacy of all of our music.
Right.
It's kind of why I called it Venom Incorporated. It's not to say, well, Kronos is Venom and we're Venom. It was to say, well, they're Venom, he's out as Venom, but we're Venom Incorporated, meaning incorporating all of the music that we've done for the last 40 years. So basically the idea was we could go on stage and play any songs from anything that we've done as solo writers or together as writers or whatever from all of our catalogue. And that to me was very exciting. So fans could hear songs that had never been played live before, B-sides of singles, we had songs from albums that people had forgotten, demo tape songs, just anything we wanted to do. And there was a feeling of freedom about that. And I thought, if we then do an album, we've got to try and look for a record company, try and promote the album, try and sell the album, look for publishing, and it's like, fuck, there's so much politics. And, do we need to go down that route and possibly destroy a band because you get a lot of infighting once there's money dollar signs popping up? While at the moment we're just going out and playing music to fans in any clubs. We could play a bar, a club, an arena, a theatre. It made no difference. Whereas once you're doing an album, if people are seeing you in a club for 200 people and not on a festival stage to 20,000 people,
right,
in their mind they're going, well, they're not very successful. So they're already trying to put you in a box, and I didn't want that.
Now, did you all agree with that, or was there more discussion to be had with the whole band?
Well, we were kind of all. I think Jeff's Mantis is a prolific writer, and he was kind of enthused by the idea of making an album. The management obviously were pushing for that, so I guess it was just me thinking I don't want to ruin what we've got, and what we've got is a live experience, and I want it to stay just a live experience. But I guess in the end I conceded that okay, maybe we could make an album and see what happened. And although I'm quite close to some people in the industry, the label that I'd always kind of been closest to was Nuclear Blast. So I thought, well, I'm not sending this out to a million labels to have them all not answer or send us letters saying,
right,
not interested. So I said, we will send it to Nuclear Blast. If Nuclear Blast want to take it, great. If they don't, we walk away and we just carry on doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. And then you can continue
so that's
on.
kind of what we did. So send it to Nuclear Blast. They said, great, we want to make an album, and that was it. We were off and running. So currently, Abaddon was drumming. We have Mantis on guitar, both the people who formed Venom in the original days, and of course myself from my band Atomcraft, and then I moved into Venom in 88 and left in 92. And then me and Mantis had Empire People when Abaddon retired, I guess. Right. And then we came back together and did Venom Inc. But earlier in the year, Abaddon, he'd got married to a young girl, and they've just had a baby. He wanted to take some time out and hasn't returned. So there's a whole political thing going on there, but I'm trying to stay away from all of that. I just focus on the music. And so we brought in an American drummer who'd been doing our sound called Jeremy Kling, who has a band called The Absence, and he has the right attitude, he has the right playing ability, and now we're making the new album, which should be out, I guess, in summer. I wanted it to be March, but it looks like summer now, probably, because we have touring schedule coming up, so it's going to push us back a little bit.
So what's the name of your first album? Whoops, go ahead.
But no, the first album we released under Venom Inc. was Ave.
It's an awesome,
which is
very good album.
Taken from the kind of Ave Maria, the famous Maria Callas version of the hymn, and of course it's Latin, which was used as a hail, a greeting. So to say hello or thank you or goodbye, they used Ave in old Roman times, and the reason I picked that as a title was because it was driven by the fans. This band was an accident which happened, and the pure thing was driven by the fans. They wanted to see us everywhere. They wanted us to make new music, so I thought we should thank them for the fact that if they hadn't been interested, we would not have been touring for the last 3 years solid, and we wouldn't have made an album. So it was a way of saying thank you. So basically that's it.
Awesome. Well, we're going to check out, actually, the first tune. It's the first tune off the track, right? Ave, yes?
Yes,
and
it's the opening track.
We're going to play some Ave Satanas. Crank it up.
Hell yeah.
All right, that was Ave Satanas. I have to say, you had to change your vocals up pretty good to sing that, didn't you?
Well, it's quite funny because when we released the first Empire of Evil album, Hell to the Holy, it was kind of different to the albums I'd done before, and I approached it from a kind of a telling a story point of view. I guess it was from the acting, because I'd done quite a lot of acting by the point I did Hell to the Holy, whereas when I'd done my earlier albums, I hadn't. I kind of got a handle on projecting a story from a character.
Right.
And it was a guy called Tommy Moriello who was managing Torture Squad and Girls School, who was kind of helping us out, managing in a way. And when he heard the demos, he said, "This is the best stuff you've done." And I said, "Really? What? Why do you think? What? Just from the material?" And he said, "No, it's your voice."
Yeah.
He said, you would sing before and you have range and power and that, but there's something more in here. It's like I get more meaning from what you're doing. And from that moment on, I realized that, when you listen to Bon Scott, now anybody could sing a Bon Scott song, but you can't be Bon Scott.
No.
When he sings a song like Touch Too Much, you're actually in the hotel room with him, and you can see so it's almost like talking from a point of view of yourself. Beautiful love songs or beautiful anything songs with a meaning, they affect you, right, because the person singing it is emotionally attached to what they're saying. And so I think I took that forward with me, and every time we recorded, I tried to embrace that even more. And I think on Ave, that's where I hit exactly what I was that character. The voice you hear is me. I am that, whatever that is, Lucifer or whatever it is. And so, yeah, it translated for me. And to have anybody, say that back to me, that they really feel the vocal from it, is amazing, and I'm so grateful.
It is amazing, and I find your album, Ave, like I told you off record, and we all were discussing in the chat room one day while we were listening, that it's so relaxing. I don't know how to explain it, but the whole album is relaxing. And I would just want to know, was it a tough album to write?
Well, no. I mean, I think because we're always composing things here and there, and Mantis he lives in Portugal now in a place called Tomar, which is an hour outside Lisbon, and he has his own studio there. So, he's constantly in there writing riffs and throwing things together and stockpiling all kinds of ideas. And when we came to this album, it was kind of let's just pull all of our ideas out and basically listen to them and see if there's anything there. So we didn't have a pre-concept, we didn't have a pre-idea, we didn't want to plagiarize ourselves. Right. We wanted it to be of the moment, fresh. Just, this is it, and that's what's happening. And so we pulled ideas out to see if anything stimulated us. And he began sending me his demos, and it just so happened that everything he sent me I liked more than the last one. Yep. So I just said, keep writing, keep sending me. So he said, but are you going to send me yours? And I said, at the moment, I'm going to focus on the management, the record deal, the publishing deal, the tour stuff, and I'm going to do the artwork and the layout, and I'm also planning the video. So while I do all of that, you just keep throwing riffs together, and when we've got enough, we've got enough. If you dry up, you dry up. If you get stuck, you get stuck, and I'll throw you some stuff, but let's see where we get to. And within a month, we had all the tracks. So then he had some lyrical ideas, I had some lyrical ideas, we had some themes. I flew to Portugal, threw all the bass on top of the tracks, and then we worked through the idea we wanted lyrically and everything else. We composed the rest of the material, and it basically wrote itself. It was almost as if the album was already there, waiting for us just to glue it together. And even, the cover was a Serbian artist who I'd seen. He paints He paints these amazing paintings, and he sells them only to raise funds for an orphanage in Serbia.
Nice.
For orphans from the war. And I'd seen this painting that he'd had a year before, and I'd contacted him and said, oh, you know, if I ever do an album, I'd love you to do the cover. Okay, so I'd been doing some sketches of thoughts about the album cover, and I contacted him and said, remember I said about doing an album cover? And he said, yeah. I said, can I have a look at some of your other work? There might be something there. And the first image he put up was basically the sketch I'd been doing, some modifications and some differences, obviously, but it was like, bang, that's the cover. And I went, this is it. So, you know, we paid for the cover, but that money went to the orphanage, to the kids, and I thought, well, that's the best. That's the
awesome.
best thing all around. It signifies everything, because the album fits the album cover, and the artwork fits the music and the theme of the thing, which is focus on mankind. What are we doing? Where are we going? You know, and how music brings us all together. And I thought, you know, it all just sat perfectly together. So to think, was it hard? Probably trying to follow it up is going to be harder than doing that, because it just happened, you know?
Yep, that's just amazing. I mean, you got it all together, boom, 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 and then it's there.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Yes, it's very rare. I mean, you know, usually there's a lot of planning with albums, and people are trying to make the cover, you know, better than anybody else's, and the production and the songs, and they're listening to themselves and comparing themselves with their peers who are releasing. And I think with us, like even with the new album that we're doing, I just said we don't need to compare ourselves to anybody.
No.
We just have to better ourselves.
Right.
We want to produce songs that we can think, well, these are even better than Harvey, which we loved, and that's all we have to do, you know, because you can't please everybody all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's
but
true.
I think theme-wise, that's the same theme. I want to make it an album that, like Dein Fleisch, and like you said, like Harvey Satanis or Earth Stained, or even Preacher Man, something that you can
relate to.
Put your mask over your eyes, turn the lights out, just lie back with your headphones on, and just let it happen to you.
Like I said,
you want to
medicate and meditate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well,
that is a toad in the hole, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's time for a toad in the hole. All right, well, we're going to check out the next track here. Here's Black and Roll. Crank it up.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, that was Black and Roll. That's an awesome tune. I like that tune also. I like the whole album.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, Black and Roll is kind of, when Venom made albums, even when we did them, we always had like a school days or a teacher's pet or playtime or there was always some kind of tongue-in-cheek fun moment in there. It could be at the end of a song or somewhere, and so it became part of our identity because we're from the north of England. We take the piss all the time and we're always joking around and be sarcastic. So I figured, having something like that in there. So, we have a bit of a funny thing at the end, which some people didn't get, and we're going, what the fuck's that? And it's like, it's us. That's who it is. It's us, you can't take yourself too seriously sometimes, and I think we wanted to put a song together that kind of saluted the music that inspired us, so lyrically it's all taken from bands that we like and music that we loved, and the reason it opens with bass salvo and has some of that in, and it's kind of Motorhead-esque, is because we lost Lemmy, and that was to me, that was a huge, huge loss for me personally. I know for many, many people, who knew him better than I did and were closer and everything else, and for fans who, really felt the loss. But me personally, my journey was walking into somewhere very early very late in the 70s and being shocked by a band who had long hair when I was a punk, playing the most god-awful noise, which was so powerful, and that bass guitar, those cowboy boots. Seeing Motorhead that first time turned my head around, and it was all I wanted to do was to do that. So, to have been able to have the pleasure to being able to play music to people and record music, it was amazing. So that was kind of Black and Roll became our tribute to our hero, and so I'm glad you liked it as well. A bit of fun and nothing too serious there, but just a tribute to a great man.
Oh yeah, I agree. Now, what's your favorite track to play when you're playing live?
Well, the beauty, and I think it is a beauty because there's many bands who have lots of great songs. Metallica, of course, Slayer, and Judas Priest. The longer your legacy is, like Iron Maiden, you have great songs. And I think one of the things that Venom, the original Venom, was a moment in time over 4 albums and a short period of time. But what they did in that time was they created so many great songs. And since we've been going, there's so many songs that have come out, of so many albums. There's so much great music. So for me, it's always a pleasure to play anything live, to have a response. And the fans, we could have a set that lasts 2 or 3 hours with 50 songs in, and you can guarantee we'll come off stage and someone will go, why didn't you play this song? And you're like, oh, for fuck, it's like, if we played every single song that everybody wanted to hear, we'd be up there for 2 days. So, but we've got all the time we've got left to be able to do that. So each tour trying to switch things around. And you have those classics that they love. They love to hear Black and Other Priests, or they love to hear Bloodlust, or of course black metal, Countess Bathory, those halcyon songs. But I think playing live, I like to play the rock and roll stuff, like Poison and Angel Dust from the early stuff, Parasite from the period I was in where it's all kind of punky, and so there's so much richness. You can play something that's quite epic like Seven Gates of Hell or Primeval, and then you can play something that's ultra speed, that's just a release of energy like Dead of the Night and Lady Lust, B-sides of singles, or then we can really get a groove going with Poison and Live Like an Angel. So for me, every show is different, every audience is different, and we try and pitch the songs to the audience, and the response is amazing, and you could play Die Hard tonight, it could be your favorite song, and play it tomorrow night, and it's not your favorite song,
right.
but Live Like an Angel was your favorite song, and you go through the whole thing like that, you know. So I guess of the new album, the favorite to play is Black and Roll.
Yeah.
Because it means something to me, and it just feels like, you know, when Lemmy died, we were on tour, and everybody knew it was going to happen, and I was so affected by that. I only ever drank tequila, white tequila, and he had beer and stuff, and he died, and I put my Motorhead snaggletooth necklace on. I said, could I have a Jack and Coke, please, before we went on?
Oh.
And someone brought me a Jack and Coke.
Yep.
And then I said to my bass tech, could you just stick my microphone up 2.5 inches and point it down into a Lemmy position? And ever since that day, every show I do exactly the same thing. So I take him on stage with me.
That's cool.
So every song, every show is dedicated by me to him. You know, I don't need to schmooze up. I'm not looking for sympathy or people going, oh, Dolan's such a wanker trying to be whatever. I'm not. I'm just saying inside, this is a personal thing. It's my church. When I go on stage, every song is for Lemmy, every show is for Lemmy. And I'm not trying to be him, I'm tributing him. So that he stays with me, because I don't want him not to be there.
So he's watching you at every show.
Yeah, I feel it. And when we play Black and Roll, which we don't every show, we don't play it every show, we mix up the songs, but when we do play it, wow, it's almost like I can feel him standing next to me.
That's cool.
You know? And I love that. So I guess my ultimate favorite is when I do that, and when I'm really feeling the vibe that Lemmy's there.
That's cool. All right, we're going to check out another track off the new album, Ave. Here's Preacher Man. Crank it up.
Oh, yeah.
listen to your senses. I am your God, I am divine. Like a moon, you can see the light.
That was Preacher Man. Have to tell you, that song says a lot.
Yes. Well, you know, that Preacher Man is a particular Mantis song, you know, because I think, you know, he lost his family. He lost his father when he was quite a young man, and then he lost his mother and his auntie, and he didn't have a lot of family. He has a daughter. Mm-hmm. But I think it's one of the things that has always, you know, kind of irritated him is the fact that the preaching and the loving and the whole, you know, and yet you can have your family torn apart needlessly, it seems.
Yeah.
So, you know, where is the God when that happens? Why does he do that? You know, when someone's maybe suffered enough, it makes them suffer a bit more. That's like squashing a slug in your garden, you know?
Yeah.
You already killed it. You don't have to squeeze it into the ground, yet we do it.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there, like you were mentioning offline, that, you know, there's a lot of issues going on, and a lot of times they just need to go to music to find what makes them happy.
You know, I have you know, so much love from fans and from supporters of the music, but I have so much hate too. You know, but on both sides of that, it's because people get impassioned by music. And I think they should connect to the music. Music, you know, makes you cry, makes you laugh, makes you smash the walls in, makes you bang your head. For a 16-year-old that's living in Poughkeepsie, who's not doing so well at school, doesn't have a load of friends, maybe he's getting picked on and his parents are arguing all the time. You know, that kid wants to go and put Burzum on or fucking Behemoth or, you know, Immortal and kick the shit out of everything and just scream. Mm-hmm. You know, so we're screaming for him. It's a release. But also, when you're feeling soulful, when you've lost that partner, you want to sit staring out the sea, playing that music by whoever that makes you cry yourself to sleep, you know, because it's better to get the emotion out. And, you know, I had a guy, you know, who wrote to me and really got pissed off, was living somewhere in America in a basement with his mum. His mum was sick. I didn't find out till later. But he was, you know, mid-30s, split up from his wife, didn't see his kids. kids, didn't have any money, didn't have a job, his mum was sick, he was living downstairs, obviously spent all of his time on the internet, but music was his salvation. And then one of his favourite bands was Venom, and I'd replaced his singer, and he didn't like that, so he used to write the most vile stuff to me, and then we were going on tour, and he was going to come and shoot me, and, and
wow.
in the end I just said, look, man, why don't bring a gun, because if you shoot me, then I won't exist anymore.
Right.
So you've got rid of that, you don't have that hate, but then you're going to go to prison, your life's over. So I said, why don't you let me buy you a cab to the show and get you home, give you a pass so you can come to see us, you can spend all night in front of the stage, just close your eyes and lose your mind. If all of that doesn't work for you, and at the end of it you still think I'm a cocksucker and you still think we suck, then me and you can go to the car park, no knives, no guns, you can take your best shot, we'll hug it out, and then you can go home. But we might make a connection.
Yep.
And it was kind of trying to reach out to someone like that and others like that to go, look, you're not losing anything, you're only gaining. The music that you love, you listen to, you collect, you embrace is already there. Imagine if Lemmy had died and he hadn't made a record.
Yep.
But he was still that character, and we all loved him, and he said one day he's going to make the best record. But he never did, and then he died. Well, but he didn't. He made a whole heritage of the most amazing music, and then he died. The same as Ronnie James Dio. So we can put on Holy Diver, we can put on Ace of Spades or Stay Clean or whatever it is, and there they are. There they are, 12 feet tall, alive and well, and making us feel amazing and strong. And we never lose that. The characters, we don't all last forever.
Right.
What we leave behind us does. Otherwise there wouldn't be a Shakespeare company still doing Shakespeare plays.
I know.
And people still enjoying that.
Yep.
So, I do understand how passionate the music makes us. But instead of being like, having a guy in Poughkeepsie, who wants to listen to Behemoth and Burzum and Mayhem and Cradle of Filth, and he wants to put the face paint on, and but he goes to school and they all think he's weird, so he doesn't have a lot of friends. Maybe some pick on him. His mum and dad are arguing all the time, and they don't want to hear that shit he's playing, so he feels isolated. But what I say to the guy or the girl like that, it's like, listen, just hold your hand out, because you know what, on the other side of the planet, probably in Kuala Lumpur, maybe in New Zealand, maybe in Tokyo, Japan, there's a person who feels exactly the same as you.
Exactly, reach out.
They feel isolated.
Yep.
The music brings us together.
That's
the music
true.
is our religion, the music is our lifeblood, and we're all connected by it.
Well, we were speaking of Motorhead. I'm going to have you introduce the next song that you asked us to play. It's... Which song is that? Do you know what song it is?
Yes, I do. There was I was at school, and there used to be a TV show on a Thursday in the UK called Top of the Pops, and it was less than an hour long, but everybody watched it every week to see if they'd play some of your music. Whether it might be a punk. It was a pop show, pop chart show, but, punk was happening and so was heavy metal at the time. And I remember sitting down to watch Top of the Pops, and this noise happened, this band came on, and I thought, oh my mother of God. And of course it was Motorhead. And they were playing this was their new single. And I remember going to school the next day, and every single person in the school was going, did you hear that fucking shit that was on last night? What the fuck was that? It was so extreme. It was so extreme. I can't even get that to people, translate that to young people these days, when you have such the amazing explosion of extreme bands and the technical skill that is in death metal and hardcore and deathcore and death and black metal. There's amazing musicians playing incredible stuff, but this was on a pop show which just blew everybody's mind, and this is Motorhead. This is overkill. will.
Crank it up.
Only way to feel the noise is when it's good and loud. So good I can't believe it, screaming with the crowd.
then, as you know, that was Overkill from Motorhead.
Motorhead, yeah.
Your favorite. Our favorite.
Only way. I mean, what a way to open a song. The only way to feel the noise is when it's good and loud.
Cool.
I mean, that should be your banner for life, shouldn't it?
Yes, it should.
Yeah.
All right, I want to speak about Bloodstock. You were in Bloodstock in 2018.
Yeah.
Was it all you expected it to be for your fans?
You know, it was amazing because we got the offer to do Bloodstock, and then we got two other festivals. We got a thing called Porosphere, which was in Finland, and then Alcatraz in Belgium. And they kind of ran 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally did Porosphere. 2 days later, I went to Belgium, did Alcatraz, and then the next morning flew straight to the UK to get to Bloodstock.
Wow.
And you know, Porosphere was raining and stuff, so people were undercover. But there was like a few thousand deaths. But it was really pissing down with rain. But a great atmosphere. We then went to Alcatraz in Belgium, and we were on second stage. We followed Dee Snider,
nice.
And we were in a covered area, and it was rammed. I mean, there were so many thousand people in there, and they went crazy, and it kind of shocked us because we weren't expecting the kind of response and the love they were giving us blew our minds. So we were kind of on a high, and then we had to get straight to Bloodstock, so we didn't have time to sort of, reconvene our thoughts or our feelings. So, and the agent, Bloodstock happens quite near Birmingham Airport, or Birmingham, and there's another airport in Manchester, which is a couple of hours away, and our agent couldn't book us into Birmingham, he booked us into Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get to Manchester, hire a car, drive all the way to Birmingham, and so I was panicking because I was driving the three of us. So we rushed it in, and we drove to Bloodstock, and we didn't have time to think about it because we arrived maybe 40 minutes before we were due to go on stage. So we just pulled up the car, shoved our stuff in the dressing room, got ourselves changed, went up on stage, picked all of our amps, picked all of our gear, got ourselves prepared, went on and did a line check, and then they said, okay, you guys have got 5 minutes. So we then walked off stage. So I just thought, it is what it is. We're kind of in the afternoon, late afternoon of the day, so let's just go on and play our thing. We had a great show yesterday. Let's just have fun with it. And they played the intro. We heard this roar going up, and it was quite amazing. And we walked on stage, and I don't know, 15,000 people or more were just there.
Wow.
And bang, we went into it, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. And what was really, really special and emotional in a way was Mantis made a speech thanking people because, the last time that he played something remarkable in the UK, I guess, truly remarkable, was Hammersmith Odeon in 1984, and we were at Bloodstock with the same kind of response from the audience. And I think because he'd had a heart attack, 12 weeks before, 11 weeks before that, and he died in the back of an ambulance, and they had to resuscitate him.
Yeah.
And he had a horrible surgery, and they gave him new valves in his heart, and these were the first 3 shows we'd done since he died. I think he felt really emotional on stage that people were showing so much great response to us, and he made this speech, and it really made it incredibly special, Bloodstock. It was incredibly special to have been invited as a British band to the British Festival for Metal was incredible, and the fans, the response was just wonderful. So yeah, it was very, very special.
That's excellent. You have a new tour coming up in 2019 as well, right? The Ave tour?
Yes, we do. Yes, we never got to South America, which was the intention to get there last year, at the end of the year. But we of course, Mantis's heart attack put things back and pushed us out of sorts a bit. So we're kicking off this year. We go down. I think I leave on the 29th of January till about the 10th of March. We're in South America, basically everywhere in South America.
That's cool.
Chile, Peru, everywhere. And then we come back and we then do Japan and Australia. And then we've got the Misfits at Chicago. We've been invited to open with the Misfits because last year we did the US, the West Coast with Danzig, which was amazing. And so the Misfits asked us to do a show in Chicago at the Allstate Arena.
That's
so we
cool.
do that on the 17th of April. So I'm trying to put the rest of the US dates around March and April so that we can come there because our visas are still valid, which are very expensive now.
Yeah, how much are they now?
Well, they can be up to $10,000.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's for me and Jeff, so if it's two of us, but they're quite remarkable. I mean, our normal spend is around $5,000, $6,000, because you have to use visa lawyers. You can't just do it yourself. You have to use visa lawyers.
Yep.
And through the immigration. And, of course, with the government changing, from into your current Republican president and that party, of course, there was a lot of things going on about U.S. security and people coming in and out. So, of course, it got more expensive and more difficult. So, funnily enough, if I wanted to go when we went to China and Russia, it took me 10 minutes at the place. I went down there 10 minutes, they stamped me passport, I was done.
Wow.
And then we went through security, but in America, considering we're allies, we're the British, so you'd think we had some kind of friendship. It costs us so much more and takes forever.
That's amazing.
But we always get them, and it's always worth it because, I have a great love for America. I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, opposite Detroit, so for me it's like coming home every time, and so many great friends all over the USA, so it's always worth it.
Do you have the plans yet of where you're going, or?
Well, I'm not sure yet. We haven't worked out the schedule, of course, but we'll be through Texas. We'll get up and down California, Portland, Oregon, and of course, towards New York, through Baltimore, the eastern seaboard, and through some of the Midwest, into Arizona, Phoenix, and hopefully Denver too. So we'll be hitting our usual haunts. Chicago, of course, because we always go to Reggie's. It's like my second home.
Yeah, you were saying that yesterday when you were in chat, that you liked Reggie's.
Yeah, the first time we went there, the people were so friendly. I mean, they all are, but they made us feel like welcome to Chicago, and they were so cool. And every time we were going, we'd always pull a Reggie's show, so we go to Reggie's. And the last time I went, they've now got apartments that they built above the venue, and we stayed there, and it was literally like going in to see family. I was like, hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh, that's cool.
It was so lovely, yeah, so lovely. So
that's good.
Very lucky.
So what are your most and least favorite parts of touring?
My favorite part is people, always people. I love people. I love meeting people. I like to hear their stories. I like to spend time with them, and I like to be able to share the live experience with them. So for me, the people, I also being very fortunate because you can see the world. I get to see bits of America that Americans haven't seen, and I see places in the world that I might not get to otherwise. 1 minute you're in Rio, the next minute you're in Tokyo or Sydney or Rome or Milan or Chicago or San Francisco. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm very, very grateful for that. The worst part is people and touring and traveling. So it's kind of depends. Sometimes it's difficult to do the traveling if you're not feeling so good, if you have early flights, if you're trying to carry so much gear, if you haven't slept, and so that can be difficult. to then have to play the show, and to then have to meet all the people. You know, and you do get some punish, as they call them, which are just fans which are so excited. They just can't, you know, they can't help themselves. But, you know, that's like the worst thing. But I don't mind that, because, like I said, you know, for me, it's about being passion. And this fan who wants to tell you everything that's happened to them since the day they were born and when they first heard or discovered the band or listened to the music or anything else, you know, you have to share that with them, because
everybody's different. Everybody's story is different.
It's kind of like, for me, or for any artist, I guess, bigger than me, of course, but you might meet 1,000 people in a week. Certainly 20 people in a day, 100 people in a day, or more. You know, and so, you know, this is the next person. But for this one person, for any one person, maybe this is their first opportunity they've had to see you, the first opportunity they've had to speak to you, and maybe the last opportunity they'll ever get. So what's 10 minutes or 20 minutes letting a fan just take your time and just sharing it with them? I don't think that's a lot to ask. And it means so much. And so for me, if that's the worst thing, because I don't hate any aspect of it, but I would say that's the worst thing, that you have 20 people who all want to talk to you, and this one person can't let you go, and they're taking up all the time, and your time's limited. And so I just worry that, you know, I want to make sure that nobody misses out, because the person at the front of the queue wants to tell you everything, but so does the person at the back of the queue.
Right.
So I try and form circles very quickly and put everybody in a circle so everybody can tell each other their stories and me, and I can share with them. That's what's cool.
Cool. Now, you're speaking of stories. Do you have, like, an epic moment that you remember in all of the years that you've played? Something special that occurred? Something blowing up? Anything?
Oh, God. Well, yes, I actually got the name Demolitionman because very early on, when I had my band Atomcraft, we were playing a show, and in those days everybody did a solo, like you would have a drum solo and a guitar solo and a bass solo, and we were no different, because that was the time in the 80s, the early 80s, and so we played in the show. It was my turn to do a bass solo, and there was kind of like a table in the venue, and these guys had been sitting there talking all the way through the show. And so they hadn't been watching, and I guess that took me and pissed me off a bit. Thinking, why don't you fuck off somewhere and talk? Why are you sitting in front and talking? So I ran over to their table and jumped up on the table to do my bass solo, and my cable for my bass, my technician, who didn't have a lot of experience but was a friend, had wrapped the cable around my amp head.
Oh, no.
Several times, and I pulled the whole fucking stack over.
Did you break the table?
Well, no, the table was okay, and the bass went off, and I turned around to look, and it was just on-stage flames. All the valves were out. There was electricity going everywhere. So I ran back to try and, you know, turn everything off and try and stand it up. It was just a mess. And my guitarist at the time, went to the microphone and went, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Demolitionman." And that's when it stuck. So it's been with me ever since.
That's Captain really Chaos. Cool.
yeah, totally.
Well, this is
if there's a hole to put a toad in, you can count on me to put the toad in it.
All right, well, we're talking about Toad here. How many or who in the band has tapped the most groupies?
Now that's a debatable question. Our guitarist, Mr. Dunn, doesn't. He's very, very good boy. He's very, very good. Mr. Kling, he's a nice, clean, living boy as well. So that leaves us with the other drummer, Mr. Abaddon, and of course myself. And so I guess, you know, maybe that's a 2-horse race. So I don't know. I mean, I you know, for years people, because I've heard musicians say the only reason they got into band is for girls.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, that's the only reason I got in it. Even Lemmy said that, bless him. But I wasn't interested in groupies or getting pissed or drugs or nothing else. The reason I wanted to be there was for the music made me feel alive, made me feel connected, made me feel justified in being alive, and connected me to people. And I just liked to be around people and to talk to people and to talk about music or anything passionate. So I guess that was kind of where I was at. But of course, you do get some very pretty followers who are very lovely and smell very nice and smell very clean and are very warm and soft. So you can't throw that sort of kind of stuff in the bin, can you?
No.
So I guess it goes hand in hand. So
there you go.
Probably me. I'd say I'm probably the winner out of everybody. And who knows why, but there you go.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, we're going to play the last track here that you wanted us to play. Here's some Venom with Primeval. Crank it up.
Awesome.
All right, that was Primeval from Venom, the original band. Could you tell me why you... Can you tell me why you requested us to play that?
Well, that was the first song that I wrote for the band, and I think the first one we began recording.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's one of the most requested songs because I have this bass pattern at the beginning, and people, kind of dig the sound of it, the groove on it. I guess for me, it's kind of a Geezer Butler type of thing, a skip it Sabbathy, and people want to see me playing that, so
I can see why.
I guess, and re-note it. So so I don't know. I think it gave us the energy, which ended in us being able to do Ave Satanas and the album Ave. So for me, it connects the dots together.
That's cool. All right, so I just have another question for you. Your new album will be coming out eventually. Will you be doing vinyls with that?
Yes, we released a 10-inch EP because we had a flexi disc single. I wanted to do a 10-inch, so we did a 10-inch colored vinyl of War, which was a track from RV, and on the B side we had War and Warhead Live. And so, I think it's important to do the media. I kind of like vinyl. I know everybody's going, there's only collectors and vinyl's dying and blah, blah, blah.
No, it's coming back.
I think so. You do a short run, we do a limited edition, but I still want to have them there for the collectors, not least myself, because I'm a collector too. So there will be a vinyl version of the album. I was aiming for March this year, but we're still finishing off the writing. And now we have to go to South America for, all of February into March, and then we have to get to the USA. And April we play the 17th, the Allstate Arena in Chicago with the Misfits, so we have to get up there. And in between that, we might be going to Asia, Japan and Australia.
Nice.
But that may be in June. So it's kind of, when can we get back to the album and finish it off? So we haven't got a pre-order date yet, but the minute that I have it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But it will be available for streaming, of course, download, and of course, I want to have CDs, which will be selling on the road, probably not as through the label, although I'm sure you'll be able to purchase it, but it's best to get them off the road because it saves shipping.
Yep.
And there will be collector's vinyl editions to be had. So yes, as much as we can create from it, we will.
That's good. All right, so can you tell us where your merchandise can be purchased and, your social media sites and...
Yes, well, currently our online website, our official website, is being revamped, but that will be back up soon, and I shall let everybody know. But we do have our Venom Inc. Facebook page, which is kind of a main point of contact. Of course, Venom Inc. on Instagram, Venom Inc. on Twitter, and I have two pages on Facebook, Tony Dolan 2, TOO, and of course Jeff Dunn, Mantis, he's also on Facebook, so you can come on there, chat to me anytime. I respond to everything through all of our media. I respond, and we have some administrators that are very good. They inform me straight away.
Yes, they do.
Merchandise-wise, of course, through Nuclear Blast, you can go direct to Nuclear Blast USA or Nuclear Blast Europe. I think that's nuclearblast.de, nuclearblast.usa. Or we have merchandise available through JSR. So JSR merch, if you just search Venom Inc. merchandise JSR, they're based in the USA, bang, it'll come straight up. So I think probably if you're ordering anything, have a look at all the sites, have a look at what the prices are, because I think the shipping is the thing that seems to be killing people. If it's something that is exclusive to the site that we won't be carrying on the road when we tour, then by all means see if you want to do that. But if it's, like I say, if we're carrying merchandise with us on the road as well, then come to the show, come and grab it there, and you'll do a saving. I'm not trying to make you come to the show.
Oh,
you
no,
can
but...
walk in, buy the shirt, and walk back out if you want to.
Better yet, you could stop right by our house when you come to New York and drop it off personally.
Yes, yeah. But that's what I would say. If it's why we have merchandise in Europe and merchandise in the USA, because it saves shipping for people. If you're based in the USA and you're paying shipping from Europe, it can kill you.
Oh, yeah.
The same thing for the Europeans. So GSR is for the USA. So that's Venom Inc. merchandise. Just put Venom Inc. merchandise GSR in your search engine, and bash page will come up there, and knock yourself out and enjoy yourself.
Right.
If you're in anywhere else in the world, then just go to nuclearblast.de and Venom merchandise, and you'll be there.
All right. So we look forward to hearing about your tour. We could probably speak after you guys come back. And do you want to give a shout out to anybody special out there, or?
Well, just to the fans and just to your listeners and to the DJs, and of course for yourselves. I want to just say to everybody, the important thing about our industry and about music is being connected. You're never alone. We're always connected by the music. I always feel grateful for the fact that we have fans and the fact that we get the privilege of being able to bring music and to play shows and to bring music to you. And I think support your local bands, support your local venues, support each other, and support your web radios like this amazing radio station, Metal Devastation. It's what it's all about. If you love the station, keep the support going for these guys. They're doing a great job. So, hand in hand around the planet. They can't destroy us, and it's a small world. So let's keep it ours.
All right. Well, thank you very much for, speaking with us today. We look forward to hearing from you soon, and I hope your tour is excellent. And, I want to let everyone else know that they can request Venom Inc. here on MetalDevastationRadio.com.
Thank you so much, and it was brilliant. And I feel very honored for inviting me, and thank you for some amazing questions and for having a good laugh. And peace out. Have a good time. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, this is the Demolition Man from Venom Inc. You're listening to MetalDevastationRadio.com, where metal reigns supreme. Hey, this is the Demolition Man from Venom Inc., and you're listening to the Thunderhead Show on MetalDevastationRadio.com.